Welcome back to VCT Americas, where Cloud9 has to...
Good
not just about the bananas. They just upset NRG in map 1. All you care about is the banana?
You need the potassium mid-game, or not mid-game, but between games. The best coaches are doing it. That's what I'm seeing.
What makes MC so good?
That's one of the reasons.
One of the reasons? It's up there. Okay, hi, we're back. We're going to talk about the first game where Cloud9 have taken over on Pearl on their defensive side. And me and Wyatt are here to break down one of the rounds from that one, where both these teams were honestly showing some really good ideas in the mid-round, but Cloud9 still came out on top.
Yeah, so if you want to just bring it back a little bit, this is one of the crucial rounds later in the game where C9 started to turn things around after a slow start in that second half. Early on in this round, you can see NRG going for a pretty standard link control play. They have the dog through off the high tide. They get mollied off for a little bit when they're trying to actually pressure into Sewer. Rudy's holding that angle, takes the first fight against Artis, and this is eventually just going to be traded out here 1-for-1. And then off of this, you can see Leaf wants to pick up that angle deep here in the bottom of B link, but with that high tide still up, he's going to end up not really seeing much. But off of this, Cloud9 make a pretty cool decision.
Yeah, they have some great ideas in being proactive in the mid-round. This is something we talk a lot about on their Lotus, but it happens both their defensive sides. Leaf spots 2 players in the link there, and he realizes now with a teammate who had initially pushed into A main and taken a peek here, that this is likely just a heavy setup in mid, this area that they've already lost. So they make the decision, both these players towards long from C9, instead to start to push their way down B long and get the information towards that side of the map to get an idea of where NRG's going in the mid-round, but NRG really slow this round down and are quiet for about the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, they do. They slow it down for a while, probably concerned that with all of that fighting going on in Link, that C9 may have been rotating in more of a quick way, but they're actually going to slow walk all the way back through Link into mid, into Art, with Finesse going through spawn. And because the Killjoy's down, that alarm bot is just irrelevant to the round entirely, and they're actually going to be able to just contact push all the way back in through A. So both teams making cool little mid-round adjustments to try and win out this round. Yeah. Eventually, the fight does break out, traded out 1-for-1, and now we're in this 2-on-2 post plant as all those trades clear out.
And the brilliance of that from NRG is to contact. Despite having their opponent pushing for info in the mid-round, they're still very hesitant to rotate. But Cloud9 closes out with a really good idea. After NRG initially stalled, you see 10 seconds are going to wane off the clock here because of this Killjoy lockdown coming through. But the way that they play this, once it comes down to the 2v2, is really cool. With everyone from NRG walking off site, just using this one molly to stall as well as spam through the wall, I think the setup here just shows how good C9 is in these late round situations.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zellsis is going to try and get on the spike as soon as possible with that Cove. And then as you do that, you're going to expect that spam coming from the attacking side who are trying to get you off the spike. And Leaf times it perfectly to get the first. And knowing that Leaf was about to swing, Zellsis was able to get it to half, immediately get off as the high tide was going down and get the trade. Just perfect timing from C9. And it was just the crucial, impressive rounds like this at the tail end of the half that dragged them back in and got them that win.
And even just a little detail, using the cloud burst to get through this wall. Normally it's really risky to walk through your own harbor utility, but he uses both his cloud bursts to do that to buy even more time, and they end up winning that one. But it wasn't just that round. It was a fantastic defensive side throughout that we have a lot to talk about.
So Mimi and Wyatt can come join us, but what a lovely breakdown of 2 brilliant strategic minds at work in the 2 IGLs of both NRG and Cloud9. Nearly every single piece of utility across both teams used in that round. Cloud9 comes out on top, and just like they did in that round, they eke out the victory in map number 1 ball, and that's where we find ourselves now. NRG now backs against the wall, got to put 2 up on the board in order to take it and go to Tokyo.
Yeah, Cloud9, I mean, towards the tail end of that game, they really started to flesh out all those ideas that you guys broke down, and I honestly think that it should continue. I think the momentum on their side, after losing that first half on the harder side too, it speaks volumes to how Cloud9 is feeling right now.
Yeah, one of the many players with a big task ahead of him is NRG's Sam here in our aim lab shoot around, warming up for the second map of the series. If the shots are on point, though, again, that map alone balanced on a knife edge, Mimi, and we're heading to Lotus next, which is where, yes, Cloud9 had tremendous success early on in the split, but more recently has stumbled, and NRG is the kind of team that can pinpoint weaknesses with game footage to look at.
They can, but honestly, I'm worried about this map, too, for NRG, because what we were just talking about, Wyatt, with their proactivity on the defense for Cloud9, that's where they thrive with this Lotus comp, with the Sky as well as the Neon being so quick to rotate, find information on that defense side and stack the right sites. They struggled in it a little bit last week, but we can't forget that they were flawless on this map during the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you expect NRGs to come prepared. Again, they are so prepared in these rematch situations. They're so good at winning other teams' map picks. But frankly, I think this is tough heading into these last two. Pearl was a risk for sure. It's a map that's been really coin flippy this entire stage. Even if you feel good on it, the other team can always squeak out a win. So tough task ahead for NRG, but doable.
Victor on the Neon.
Let's go. I was completely unexpected. That caught me off guard so hard because it looked like they're going to go for the Cloud9 comp, which is crazy. So they're doing this now twice. Once against Furia, stealing their comp, and now against Cloud9, stealing their comp.
It's so cool. But we think back to last year, and Victor was the Neon guy. It was Optic last year who was really innovating that agent in North America, and now they're bringing it back in 2023 with NRG.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because Artist just picking Killjoy at the end. I mean, the early season Artist Killjoy was not, was not remarkable. There was struggles in that time.
This map was one of the reasons why he was picking Killjoy in the first place, because he was so uncomfortable on any other role.
Well, they say that imitation is the best form of flattery, but you need to do more than imitate. You need to beat your opponents in this one for NRG if they want to keep their hopes alive here in the lower bracket run. We're ready to get into map number 2. Let's hand things back over to Vansili and Riv for the call.
Thank you very much, our friends here on the Analyst desk. Riv, I'm super excited for this second map too. A mirror composition. I mean, you have the Neon coming out now. And, we always follow that storyline where, NRG is not supposed to lose twice, right? They've lost a series once against Cloud9 throughout the season. Yeah, they don't lose rematches, but they're still behind by one map.
They are. They are. That's just the calibration map. Everything's getting organized now, and now it's full steam ahead for NRG. And the fans are hoping they're delivering the energy from the crowd, from the chat. Let's get into map number 2 here. Between Cloud9 and NRG, Cloud9 sit 1 game up. 1 seed up as well, and they're showing their strength. Right towards A. Ooh, not sure Leaf and Zeppa want to do this. They might need a little bit more than they're asking for.
Flash, stuns, both ends coming out. Leaf now falling back, or sprinting through the dark cover.
Good damage.
As indeed, it does some damage onto Victor. Crashy still in sight, but does not have any regrowth. It's a Trailblazer to try to clear open if NRG are looking to hit this A site.
Seen a few frenzies around. Always note those are super good for breaking baby door and just making a quick dash over towards that B site once you fake an A. Doors open. They're going to start clearing.
Oh, that allows Victor to go for the dash behind, but he gets stunned. We come in across it with Zeppa holding it in the back of the site. Looking for that third, but it gets denied here by Crash. He's advantage out for C9. Plant coming down for NRG. Rotate coming across. As now Artist is in a position. Help playing close towards that small door. All 3 players of C9 looking to flood back from the top of heavens. And that flash gives a lot of information to allow Artist to start activating a lurk. Dropping down silently other players of Cloud9. Now it's up to Crashies to hold that side, that 1v1. They know Crashies is alone on A, and Jake denies him right away. Will stick onto that spike. Poison Orb then coming up, the wall bang, trying to get that kill onto Jake, but it's not gonna happen. C9 get the pistol.
Little body shots to ring in the pistol round as well. Cloud9 doing very well for themselves there to pick up these rounds. What a hit. Also, that stun. Interesting insight, just enough time to get that. For a second, I thought it might have been coming from Crashies on the front and then hit Victor.
I almost felt that as well.
Yeah. Interesting on that. I didn't fully catch the play, but if that's what happened, that is incredibly unfortunate. C9 now will start to push the same extremity of this A. And B is going to be hit. So far, no C pressure. Usually you get a lot of that in the beginning of the game. Go back and forth between that door, especially between Cloud9. We talked about this the other day. Leaf practically lives around this area, offense or defensive side. And C9 have a pretty good idea what's going on this round, so it becomes now on NRG to get out of this pinch.
Yeah, and C9's just looking to play contact now towards the C site. Jiggle peeks from Zelsis and Rooney. Alarm bot's super far back. in case NRG wants to go for that flood into C. They decided otherwise. They're holding back towards spawn. There's just so much information and so much ground game, though, for Cloud9's defense that it's going to push everybody towards this trap of C.
Yeah, a little bit of a fake. Util destruction. Like you said, that trap ready to be deployed here. Just the molly's waiting.
Nobody's rotated, though. Nice little push by Victor allows for the trade to happen, then a nice little snake bite. And then Zelsis drops 3 right there. Lurk not going to happen. Zelsis looking for that 4th one, an easy one here. Halfway into the lockdown. But what they want here is this round, and then make it at 2.
Taking space, but never overextending, right? A lot of space taken towards a rubble, and they get to a position where they don't need to go anymore. They don't care what actually is happening on the opponent's side of the map. NRG still has to come to play inside the spike sites, and another clean round here. And staying on quite a bit of these low buys as well for Cloud9, so the money's good to look into that bonus round.
Quick feed, quick trigger.
Crashies has his ult. I feel like we get a double hit here on NRG's side. Victor straight to the orb. Gonna start messing with that door. You still have the lurk here coming out of Artis. Completely different looks from NRG. It's interesting to see how now we see Artis going on that solo duelist mission. Now Victor here onto Lotus. And how they play off each other, how they give each other that max space that Chet was talking about for safety and that priority of what the duelist life means in that round, in any round. Quick over-the-top flash coming in from Zeppa identifies that C push is happening. So with Cloud9 not having turned a corner to even find a member of NRG, the utility is doing all the work for them. Oh, that bird got stuck a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, it makes it difficult, especially when C9's one player behind. The Traveler's going to spot a lot. It's going to be hard for them to gamble on their early rotate when that, exactly what you mentioned, Riv, that flash, the second one didn't get the information. So this becomes an easy plan for NRG. C9 looking for the damage on their bonus round. Nice job by Zelsis to clear that corner. And that will allow a fight to mount. But C9 decides to pull back altogether, work towards the waterfall.
That door game.
Wait and see if Zeppa still has a flash that's about to come up, or if we're just going to flood right back. The flash comes out on the attack at least, though. But C9 still takes advantage of that as his wall comes down, placed up here by Rooney. Here comes a bloodbath. This is good for a couple of kills for NRG.
One enemy remaining.
Fair advantage, make that in favor of NRG just for a bit, but the damage has been done on C9's bonus.
Perfect. That damage was really big. I was thinking this looks really scary when you were being a member of NRG looking at we have X-Ray seeing all those Cloud9 members just on the other side of the wall. So yeah, Cloud9 happy to flood retake on the bonus, knowing they can buy and just shred that economy of NRG. Still, Seekers is ready, so good to see NRG able to get through that round. Make themselves available with the ultimate here as we come up. Stinger, though, for Victor. Still happy to buy that and keep quite a bit of money. Does decide to go for full armor at the last second, though, knowing he'll be diving in here, possibly straight to B. Shift until you don't. That's the strat.
Ooh. Nice little TP away. Leaf even runs through the toxic screen to get that pick off onto Victor. Snake bite to delay the push out of NRG, but at least they'll take the orb. Looking to get in back position. This time towards A. Leafs just spotted a jump spot from Crashies. That's going to slow things down just for a bit now. Looking to play the contact when the dark cover dissipates. Now the execution comes in, the flash towards the back of the B site. Seekers now coming out on the attack too from Crashies just to clear out this B area. Trying to get some sort of timing through this toxic terrain at the corner of the A link. Counter Seekers coming out too, and some jumps across for the kill. A second one onto Zeppa with the judge.
Spike planted.
Leaf was looking for a flank, but it gets spotted here by the turret of Artis. Things are looking pretty good here for NRG to delay long enough. Another snake bite towards the back of the B side. Poison orb coming up too. And you could definitely see it from C9. The amount of delays coming out now from the utility of NRG. Just looking for these exits. Trying to keep NRG in the radius of this spike that's about to go off. Leaf now closing that gap, denied by Artis. And that will definitely seal the fate of C9 for this round. Falling back the last two players, Rooney and Zelsis, saving their weapons, and NRG will tie up the game.
Back and forth already on Lotus. The pick for Cloud9 here. They were able to thwart NRG on that pick of Pearl.
Everyone
But yeah,
note
I
down
think
your
we're going to get a
observations,
very
then
back and
let's run
forth
it
game
again.
here. And what
I've got
spells
your
that, what
triumph.
tells us that is the amount of frags that are happening each round as these guys are just giving it their all, getting in the site and stopping opponents from getting out of the site. Got to be a lot of rebuying and a lot of the game staying balanced in economy. Will make that util game even more important of how you're using it round to round.
There.
All right, the momentum now in favor of NRG. That's the important thing to look at right now with this low buy for Cloud9. And they will use that momentum. This is kind of a default here. NRG likes this instant positioning. Victor gets the alt orb or door, where he can activate door. Gets a bit of help from the team to get that space, and then they can decide where they want to go from here. So it seems like this folds out into whatever audible they really want to do in the round. Looks like that's going to be a little bit of an A hit here. Almost dedicated to a fake with how far Artist is pushed up towards B, I feel.
Paranoia being thrown. Trailblazer to get the hit on to Leaf. We break the door. We get the stun onto Zelsis. Nice pick by Victor.
Yep.
First blood in the round. Pivoting now towards the B site as Jake's trying to get a kill with the Sheriff. Won't get it. Cannot connect onto the second one, though. These kills are coming through for NRG no matter what, leaving Rooney solo. Alone towards the A site. NRG full control of B. Plant not even needed as Crashes continues his strong performance from the first map rather to the second map.
It's really prop Victor up. Where can Victor get so the guiding light means more? Him following a Trailblazer means more. And in the A hit we see that's the alt orb. If you get to the alt orb, Victor can either go through tree, around the corner into A, or they break through door with him and still have that push from Artist. So we see just 3 things that come out of where they can prop up Victor on this Neon from that A hit. And those are ones that are happening pretty quick. Normally pretty quick is not what we think about when we think about NRG and strategizing round to round. This timeout will slow things down here as MCE wants to chat with the boys to figure out what these 3 rounds are, or what in these 3 rounds, I should say, are causing trouble for the team.
Yeah, definitely seems like a tough way to fight back on the early pressure from NRG up towards that A orb. Yes, the smoke comes out early, but there's not too much coming out from C9 side, knowing their strong defensive side, how Leaf could push very aggressively as a Neon as well.
Yeah.
Getting support from flashes. Well, you haven't seen too much of that battle to take control of a rubble. And that gives a lot of map control now for NRG to pivot continuously between that A orb and that small door. And that is also a wrench, right, in the wheels right now for how C9 wants to adapt against NRG, because they're not playing against this. They haven't really played NRG against a Neon before. And Victor's doing a good job to really suffocate how C9's currently positioned on defense.
It's so different. Usually we see these teams throwing nades at each other right here, trying to take the space with just utility, but it is bodies right now. Oh dear.
He wanted to fight back. And as he wanted to fight back, Victor was just waiting there with that Phantom. Mentioned that they tried it out, they wanted to fight back in that area, back in the A Rubble's control. And this allows now NRG to sell a fake towards the A side. Look at that pivot from C9 to stack back towards A, but all of NRG are just walking into the C site and planning for Mound.
Victor is just laced up and on a different one this game. Definitely on the Neon diff, just on the aim diff. Raw power right now coming out of the flexibility of this player. Ultimate's ready. If he wants to go into overdrive, doesn't really even need to unless you're sending a message on this one. NRG's already got enough body shots in on this game, so I think they're happy there.
Yeah, definitely. And also giving a respect now for Cloud9, knowing that they could always have these last-second floods back in the retakes for sites. Not really hunting for the kills yet, despite them having all this money to work with. Making sure that you secure the round, secure the spike going off. And he will do, as NRG will pull the lead by 2.
Playing a little music there. Like it. 4 out of 5 post plants. NRG securing now. You can really see where the wins are starting to come from. And again, a bit of the slow site take now if Victor's not absolutely getting in the face of Cloud9 to start things off. You see, Leaf there, though, as you mentioned, trying to get aggressive, trying to match this pace. And it just, the backup, I feel like NRG is getting, even to say Victor as well as the flashes over him, the paranoias that are around him, are really just making it so much more tough to fight against. Take that space just without worry, right? And that confidence is what they're getting the trades out of. What C9 seems to be so timid to push and peek, as we finally get a little bit of a C aggression here out of C9.
That's exactly it. Not being able to fight head-to-head against the push on the A side. They want to do it on C and try to get the flank, knowing that usually in these moments, Artist is playing solo, trying to watch that rotate.
Yeah.
I think they got a perfect timing off the turret. I don't know if Artist actually recalled it while he's moving forward with the rest of his team, but he was moving forward to pick up this A orb, try to get into tree and get the lockdown in. But here's Finesse watching that flank. Lockdown now activated for NRG as they're pushing in the A site. Counter flashes coming across, and C9's rotating all the way across the B site.
Celsius?
But a 1v1 inside A, Celsius will definitely get detained, but at least wins that fight against Victor. Plant only comes down now, so that gives a chance still for C9 to go for the quick rotate. Crashy's trying to get a timing. His opponent slides across as it's Leaf. Counter lockdown now coming out on the defense. Paranoia being pushed by NRG to keep their opponents back. But here's the opportunity with the overdrive for C9. Clearing all the utility left behind here by NRG as they pop the nanoswarms early. Leaf getting a shot onto Som. But things are looking really good for C9 on that flood retake. The second shocker from Leaf onto Finesse. C9 will get the defuse, and it closed the gap.
The body zap too, sending a message, feeling good. Leaf needed that round. I feel like definitely needed to come up big on a round for himself, get that confidence back.
Definitely.
Get himself back onto the board and recycle that ultimate again. They want to be using those off the rip each time. Celsius being able to delay so much time in sight, and then I actually think getting detained, we saw all the players kind of searching a little bit further, identified by Cloud9 as they slide back in and figure out where those priority targets are going to be. NRG had a 2-round gap. Now we're only within 1 as C9 tries to tie us up once again. And the C push, they felt comfortable. They gained enough space. They gave them enough map info.
Yeah.
And NRG rinse and repeat back to a bit of their defaults, but are still spread out towards C, so it's definitely different.
It's definitely where C9 found a lot of success in the early days of Lotus getting these pressure, these pushes on C-Long. Leaf activating like he can in this area, but it's a trade-off on both ends.
Seek them out.
Seekers in already coming through. Artist will just break all of those Seekers as he can, just to make sure that I don't get more information on that third player, and that's Victor still holding towards that A orb. But you're right here, Riv. Leaf has definitely been calm on this very map.
Yeah.
Struggling against Leviathan just days before. Now trying to find his groove once again where he found so much success for Cloud9. To allow C9 to get a very strong Lotus, but now it's still NRG in the lead by 1.
Yeah.
All grouped up now for a full execution towards A. Thankfully now for C9, it's all of Zelsa's utility actually stacked up in that
30
area. Turret
seconds
now
left.
being shot down, alarm box still up.
Back to B.
NRG deciding to move towards that baby door, up towards the B site. Rooney looking for a timing nanoswarm to get broken up, but that gives his information away. His
Spike
position away.
planted.
Snakebite looking to be thrown. Ult to get Som out into a
A.
position where he could flank.
Good.
Meanwhile, though, Rooney falls. Disadvantage now for C9, looking to play that retake.
One enemy
A
remaining.
1-for-1. Up to only Zelsis.
Bomb grenade
Now being
out.
pinned and sandwiched because of that ult back from Som.
enemy remaining.
Wins that fight against Artist. Looking to tap onto that spike. Here's the footsteps moving forward. Knows that Som's heading towards the A-Ling. Looking to stick that spike. Off that spike. Looking for the spray. But it's Som that's going to win it after all.
Both going for the wide swing there after the first engage misses. And the hit comes through. NRG keeps it 2 away, and actually big for NRG in identifying what was going on at the end of that round with the utility they were using, what they had seen as well from Som being able to rotate out, and hearing the door. They didn't have much to think about on where Cloud9 was coming from. They had forced Cloud9 to make all this noise just to get back in. Zelsis was the one who really wasn't able to, or was kind of unknown as he came through. Baby door right to C. Ooh.
And the lower by. Both Neons now falling down. As NRG are starting to see that early aggression coming out from Cloud9 from the last few rounds on that C site.
Look out.
And they nullify a big piece to the puzzle. A big piece to the success for Cloud9 on this map, and that's Leaf falling down early.
What do they do without their neons? Who's it? Who steps up to the plate now? Is this going to be a teleport into the site? Is Crashies get some or somebody to follow that Trailblazer in? Is the question. And this becomes so much easier for this Killjoy utility to have a return. Already got one molly out, so they're playing with it just a little bit. Cloud9's waiting on the rotate. This is going to help NRG take the site and get this post plan up.
That Seeker is to try to spot Zelsis towards the back of the site. Trailblazer on top of that too. That forces now Energy to pull back into B. It's been the same story all along, keeping C9 on rotates all the way back towards spawn every single time. The plan right now for Energy, that default spot for them has been the bottom of that staircase. Finesse in a position to not allow C9 to rotate across that small door. So both make that even 4 players of C9 looking to rotate in duos on the top and the back of that B site. No flashes available. Zeppa does get the trade-off onto Artist, but we just have too good of positions for Energy, playing even inside the site instead of playing far back on pulse plants. And they're looking really good in their pulse plants so far.
And it kind of reminds me of the way they played it before. I'm pretty sure Mimi did a telestrator on it, where they're using this wall, and they haven't changed it yet, but they can use this to block off normal Killjoy positioning as it gets placed in B, which they've been identifying at A. So they continue to go B, and the neon wall is how they've been opening up the A side. A lot of times that's where you see the Viper wall going across the right towards boxes and then right towards stairs A connector. But this Viper wall towards B is what Energy's been using every time. And again, it kind of rinse and repeat of what we saw last round, fans, right? Opening to C. No kills just yet. Rooney's looking to get this Sheriff to work here.
Feels like I haven't even had a chance to see Rooney on a Sheriff this series so far, and denied right away!
You were saying?
Yeah. Actually, the caster blessing the headshot onto Victor as he was stunned. But get instantly traded off by Finesse. Jake looking to run forward through the Nanostorm for a pick surprise onto Finesse. At least Zeppa will get it. Now we'll calm down the push from Energy. Guns left on the ground just by the water. And that's being watched now by Crashies, not allowing C9 to get those weapons. Looking for a late re-hit. Som now looking to play contact. Same for Leaf. The jump peek. And a flash to allow Leaf to push forward. Now Som is closing that gap. Reloading on that Stinger. Couldn't get that kill onto Som. Now it's up to Zeppa with the frenzy. His teammates are with him. His teammates couldn't save him.
It's like hide and seek right now.
Yeah. Only up to Zelsis now. 23 seconds on. 23 seconds left on the round.
There it is.
Have to commit into the C site. An easy pickoff in the end. Energy's now in a lead by 4 on the attack half.
Trust my boss.
Yeah, Energy being able to convert their 4v5s, absolutely rolling through these rounds and sourcing out where and how Cloud9 is playing their defense. We've seen a lot of these rounds be Cloud9 over-rotating and B be completely open. And then on the retake, somebody dies immediately. So while it feels like Cloud9's okay with B being open and they're going to play the retake, they're losing a very pivotal member in that transition of the situation where they cannot be losing it. They can't be losing the KJ util so quick, or one of their priority for retakes here on that initiator utility. Right towards A, we switch from A to C extremity, and we switch right to B.
Energy is a fast hit towards B. C9, meanwhile, looking for the push on A side, looking for the fast flank. Alarm bot placed on the ground, door now opening. 2 players now pinched towards the orb of B, but it's still being won by Energy. Zeppa still anchors inside B site. Seekers coming out, a 3 versus 3. Door being reopened by Rooney, so they can pinch back against Energy. That forces a lockdown to come down for Artist. Zelsis does get the pick off of the Som no matter what, though. But we don't care about the lockdown, just pushing in for these kills. Artist finally at least gets spotted by Zeppa. Reopening the door once again. As now we're dancing across, Runa gets the pick. And it's been a while since we've seen a C9 defuse, and they're gonna get it.
Another round that stays close. And even with that string of rounds, we're still could have a 7-5 half. It's wild to think of what kind of swings we're seeing here, but Cloud9 still being able to stop the bleeding here and there to make those early rounds that they picked up, the pistol round and the second round, mean that much more. A big reason they still are in this first half. The second pistol round of the series is paying off big for them. If they can get pistol round next half, it spells such a better story here, but it looks like NRG may be real ready for that with the momentum they've been bringing. Final one here of our first half, second map.
And it's Victor with an opener once again, this time at least. We break the door early for Cloud9. We traded right back, and that's courtesy of Zelsis. Now NRG will not be able to do these quick plays of opening the door, forcing pivots, and then going for a late hit towards B. So adaptation for Cloud9 within this round. That now puts Artis out of commission. As I was just about to mention him putting the alarm bot just towards the door to not allow C9 to rotate back.
Got a little pivot by Jake. Sees the smoke coming up from the opponents, uses that as a step. Ready to make a play now.
Here's the spike plant. The jiggle up across. Finesse goes head-to-head against him. He TP's back out. Snakebite underground. The white swing coming out. Now a big flash coming through by Crashies as Jake now has to fall back down, looking for a timing.
What is this dance?
Finesse is still trying to push against him. He gets hit by the Seeker. Finesse is pushing forward, finally drops him down. The advantage back for the defenders still, though, as the lockdown pushes both defenders on the post went out on the attack. And Zelsis then swings in with the rest of Cloud9. And yes, you mentioned it, Rib. Despite the string of rounds coming in for NRG, C9 still makes it 5 in their favor on the first half.
God, Jake wins the annoying award for this one, staying alive for so long, back and forth. I think he faked out the Seeker too. That even seemed like it took longer to hit him. And then the rest of the team had time to close in. Absolute pivotal play by the rookie to allow Cloud9 to get back to what is 5 to NRG 7.
And yes, indeed, it's been a story so far. We're trying to figure out what was happening in this neon composition for NRG, and I'd like the desk to know about it. So let's toss it over to Dash.
We'll do our best to know about it, Vince. As C9 claw their way to just 5 rounds on the defensive side. They are we're knowers. We hope we're knowers at the very least. A 2-round lead here for NRG. I think that sorry?
Tenuous.
Tenuous, exactly.
Yeah, it's the attack side for them, and they're obviously stealing a lot of what Cloud9 has actually brought to the table on this Neon comp. So historically, actually, Cloud9 has been defense-sided on this, but it's kind of flipping the other way. I think their grip on it has changed. So this clip right here, Victor going crazy in through where Leaf is normally pushing and actually just stealing his stun. So bar for bar, word for word, that's their strat, and it's really funny to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, there are just infinite tapes of Cloud9 playing on this map. You can just see it in the latter parts of this season. They just haven't had the stranglehold on map control that they used to at the beginning of the season. NRG were able to control Rubble over and over and over, and that was really what was making this Lotus comp for them so potent. Victor switching over to the Neon in the head-to-head with Leaf. Both have had some okay moments. Victor is 3-6 right now. First kill to first death. Leaf is 3-3. But both of those guys, typically throughout the season, you would expect to have way better ratios on that.
Yeah, I mean, these stats actually show the OG version of how Neon comps were played, where there was a lot of sacrificial play out of Victor. But Leaf also joining in with him, and I think both are super pivotal to how they actually are approaching it. I think Leaf has lost that dynamic, like rotation style that he had when he was playing throughout the regular season. I'm wondering if Victor will be able to actually match that on the defensive side.
Yeah, and we'll see if Leaf can create those openings for Cloud9 as they move to the attacking side. Either way, it's a 2-round lead here for NRG as they look to push us to a 3rd and final map. Let's get that second half underway. Back over to our casters.
Thank you, Dash, Bala, and Wyatt, to help me know about this composition. Of course, I meant talk about, but you know, semantics. Back into the pistol round, NRG in the lead by 2. And yes, as Bala has mentioned previously, historically has been very defense-sided for C9 with this composition. But now, especially with a mirror comp, we may see the opposite, more faster plays now on the attack. And C9 looking to do the exact same thing here that NRG has done against them. Meanwhile, though, Toxic Stream does come out on the defense as a slide comes across, and this is going to be a bloodbath once again. An advantage for Cloud9. As both players now pulling back from NRG, the slide across, what the click from Som and a kill from Lotus. The spike falls as the advantage comes back for the defenders.
Celsius.
Gun here.
Definitely alone. And you needed some reaction time coming out from Som with that shot. That was actually quite nice to see.
Oh,
Now Nanoswarm pushing Finesse away, picking up the Ghost, getting the first kill.
spamming.
Through the smoke, does get hit, does get tagged a bit. And a second Nanoswarm, unfortunately, does not pop off, so that does not allow Zelsis to push forward to pick up the spike. We'll have now to come down to these duels.
Just grab it. Just reach out and grab it. He can do it, I believe.
Still a high-low now from Som and Artis. The jiggle peek and a tap just to try to
30
bait a
seconds
positioning. Oh, just saw the hip of one.
Oh, no, it's a gun! No, it's a gun again! It's a gun again! Okay, maybe he can't grab it.
Go get it, Arms!
Oh, Artis gets it. A 3K for the Killjoy. Alt orbs galore, but also a round that kind of stops down. I think that gets everybody feeling the vibes in the game, too. We reset here for second round as NRG stopped Cloud9 from getting both pistols. Cloud9 really needed that pistol on that defensive side to get the 5 they have, but like this Dust was saying, we'll see at the attack side.
In this case, Zelsis did get a lot of pistols.
He did get a lot of pistols. Come on! It was close, though. A valiant attempt.
Well, this puts C9 now on a save, and it's NRG's time to play it very aggressively. Again, same type of strategy, denying C9 to get early pressure up towards Rubble. Pivoting now Cloud9 into working the B side and the C side. And Artis, I mean, this has been talked about on the desk where, you know, in the past when NRG was still trying to find comfort in their role, he was the one playing this Killjoy on this very map because he wasn't really comfortable in into any other roles. But so far has done a very good job here being anchors on rotates, anchors and sight on defense too. And now we definitely do have the audience split on fans between C9 and NRG, and we definitely see why. I mean, this is definitely the elimination game. And a chance once again for one of these teams to move forward and represent the Americas over at Masters Tokyo.
Placing swarm grenade.
Cloud9, just a map away from doing that. A few rounds, I should say here, but NRG thinking differently on their defensive side. That pressure, instant shark attack, unexpected. Coming from both sides as the dasher on the corner from Leaf goes down, and we also lose Crashies. Leaf has found himself on the ground in the beginning of this round so much. Now on the attack side, that's going to mean a lot more. How are Cloud9 going to be finding themselves in these sites? A low buy round here that NRG could flip over and take this bonus for themselves.
Trying to play some timings, opening the door. Trying to see if we could break the utility from B side, but still going to be slow. Instead, Zeppa's looking for a timing behind and under the dark cover. Now Som throwing both of his smokes. Door being reopened by Cloud9 so they could try to get a timing when the dark cover comes back out, but Snakebite still delays for a little bit more. Victor over peeking, denied and punished by Zelsis. A flash fully blinds Finesse. As now C9 floods the C site. Som already on the early rotate, but Zeppa was playing that off angle, not being cleared. Up to Artis, who does have this Phantom, and I think he's just going to try to save it. Damaged a bit, down to 54. Jake was the one on a lurk, and Artis wants to fight back.
Just trying to reposition as much as possible to get one of these frags in. He's still got quite a bit of util to play here, so he can just hide in his little hobbit hole while the rest of them source out this kill. Great patience there from Cloud9, making their way into the site. It looked like they could have been walking into a very big trap, especially with losing Leaf right away again. But util use, backing each other up, quick frags on there, and they avoid these Sheriff rounds from NRG. And mostly bonus buys around, as that was the third round of the second half. Artis will keep this weapon going into the into round 15, I should say. Or 16 rather. As we see Vansili becoming a pretty big kind of area to find the first fight here, to open up the round, to see if a challenge will be had. Both teams have been pretty happy to take that fight when it comes to with NRG now calling a timeout, slow things down.
Yeah. Once again, especially with these neon compositions, trying to work quickly on the A side or C side. We haven't seen too much of these situations though when NRG were playing onto their attack here, that they actually had to push all the way back towards spawn, something also Cloud9 has been known to do on their attack half. Man, it's Killjoy duelist right now. Zelsis up at 15 kills, Artis at 15, both 15 and 7 right now for the Killjoys here. They have Leaf down at 6 and 13 with Victor at 7 and 13. So these teams are making it a priority to stop that initial attack, get a frag out of it, back up, reset, and try it again. We're seeing it from both sides, as it's kind of just neon cannon fodder at the beginning of the round, and then how it plays out from that is who has the better audible. Here it could be mid to mid, both neons right at the wall. As it drops, this could be a pretty good fight for this orb. Guns all around, phantoms on the side of NRG across the board, so they can just sit down and keep that spray coming.
Let's go.
Different wall look here from Cloud9. Just gonna be a lurk from Rooney as this map gets split. Ooh.
There's two players right now from C9 trying to take control of this orb because we wanted this Seekers. And NRG identified that, went for a heavy push out towards the B side, dropping Leaf once again. And on the other end, there was two more players of Cloud9 trying to move towards that C site, allowing Zelsis to pick up this orb and drop that lockdown. That will push the players back for a bit. We still have the smokes available now for Jake as he throws him right now. We're committing to the execution. Snake bites being thrown, so it has to be planted in a different spot. Victor on the top here trying to spray on that ledge, pushed back by the Seekers. As it's time to play the retake. Trailblazer out from NRG to try to clear out the site. 2 players from Waterfall, 3 players from Spawn. Big paranoia that's going to blind a few, except for Zeppa, who does punish Victor on their early push. Zeppa looking to fight back.
Oh my
has
gosh.
support from Zelsis. It's a 2 for 2 on both ends. Advantage back for the defenders. Only 1 left to go. And as we mentioned, it was not planted for him. So Rudy has to try to fight back and can't get it done.
NRG ran Cloud9 over. And I want to give credit as well to the Phantoms on the retake. We only saw legs, one-ways, mollies everywhere. So if you have these shots hitting you and you can't return fire from the Tracer, those Phantoms came in big, and Cloud9's reaction time to understand where NRG was approaching from, especially with Crashies having a few to use on the way in the form of that guiding light. Yeah, just instantly swamping the site, getting down. Using all this util to perfection. 10 for NRG here. Looking very likely that we have Haven to come out on the horizon as map number 3. Just 3 more rounds for NRG to close this one out. And we get a timeout as MCE wants to have a chat. Only a low buy here for Zelsis. He decides to go for a stinger. Rest of the team's buying up, but this becomes interesting with how the game's going to be working for Cloud9 now. If Zelsis is identified as a weak point due to that gun this round, NRG could quickly have a way into a site to their post plan again.
As you know, you don't have too much time to work with.
No.
MC is trying to pull out as much as he could. And that's what I was trying to get to before, like these situations where C9 were known for, on their defense rather, when we were in the last timeout, was that they were really good at denying and delaying in terms of ult executions with the lockdowns. And NRG was able to do just that on that previous round by having a snake bite being thrown at the very last second of the lockdown being coming out rather. And as Jake was trying to move in for that plant. So off these timeouts, C9 on the attack have to try to dwindle down that utility available for NRG. Work that map around, use those doors, as they're known for as well here on the attack. This time around, it's a flash to start things off and keeping NRG back. C9 trying to push forward into this buy. Stinger available for Zelsis only, while the rest have rifles. And that's the amount of utility we said that needed to be done. Crashy still has a Trailblazer to be used, though.
The way they're pushing up on this, to BC is normal that we see, but Cloud9, as the desk was saying, they haven't run that A strat that NRG was using that comes from Cloud9. They've actually been staying away from where Victor has been dodging and diving to the beginning of these rounds. So from A now to C, Victor's rotated over. He will do it again. You can see him just running from site to site here, trying to track Cloud9 as it looks like this may end towards C after all with A fake.
Yeah, this is a great A fake actually, as you just mentioned that. Som went for the Jiggle Peak, saw one, and a Trailblazer coming out from Crashies, went out towards Long B and didn't spot anybody, so they're guessing a nade push, but C9 rather are pushing into C instead. So Smokes once again being thrown out by Jake.
30
Trying to
seconds
gain
left.
control on the back of the C site. Nanoswarm to even push Finesse away. He makes it across on the top. Dodging over the smoke, and now inside the smoke, getting a kill onto Zeppa. Jake, though, still playing behind. The lockdown's up. The smoke dissipates. 2 kills. Can't get the third. And that will allow the lockdown to fully go up. But meanwhile, though, the spike has been planted. Big paranoia coming out here from Som, blinding both players of Rooney and Zelsis on that mound. There's still that poison orb that's up, but we're not defusing yet.
They'll know now. They know by now.
Now looking for a double push. Big relay bolt. Triple swing out. Zelsis cannot win the fight on the last 2 against Victor and Som. NRG comes back for the defuse. They take the lead, 11-6.
Take the lead, take the site. Another great crash down as well.
No matter
What is, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What is this new meta of playing inside the lockdown? Getting as many kills before the lockdown goes away and seeing if you can challenge the lockdown. I've been loving it.
Yeah.
We've seen players doing it again and again. Jake in there, yeah. I mean, what's you need right now? You gotta break through your playoff ceiling. You cannot hit a plateau right now. We got everybody firing. So definitely Zelsis and Artist still up top, challenging each other. Again to see.
And it's fast.
Both of
Relay
them.
bolts on both ends. Paranoia pushing out Victor. Victor
Wow.
dashing away with the high gear out towards C. And that will just allow here Zeppa to re-heal his teammates. Once again, a broken bind coming out of Cloud9. A Viper's Pit forced out early from Finesse into C. We have these double lurk plays out from Rooney and Zelsis. Som once again does a solo anchor hold. Now finally has support from Victor. We're just delaying and delaying. Another dark cover down.
I feel like this round can get so scary. Like C9 feels like they're in a good position, and you have 3 huge ultimates to come out of NRG to identify everything that's happening. Here's the hit on A.
Nice Nanoswarm, though. That might allow a timing for Son to push forward through, but instead it's a poison orb that prevents him from pushing forward. Once again, C9 will get a plant down with 5 players alive, but 2 players heavily damaged. Indeed, from a spike plant down, the lockdown's available. The barrel of the gun is sticking out, the shots are being missed. Zeppa still gets the right-click classic on the Som, and now the lockdown comes down. We're trying to get the heroic play, but Finesse gets denied by Leaf. Everybody dropping like flies. C9 have now sealed the deal for NRG. Both players falling back. Victor and Crashy all the way towards C. As C9 will get the round.
That was a lot of what we saw on Lotus. Explosive, causing each other to play reactive, right? Seeing, should be good. Run it. Yeah, seeing everybody have to act as soon as the gas goes down, as soon as any walls go down, and as soon as you have a relay bolt in your face, there's Leaf flying in a round where we don't see Leaf going down first, still able to cause chaos and participate with the team. Cloud9 flows much easier from each position in the map, and that's just unfortunate. That'll happen. Great shots inside the site. Defense, man, I feel like lockdowns are just something that people are buying in this game right now. We're seeing so many of them. All right, Victor has ultimate. Could try to overdrive here as we see them pushing towards rubble. This is one of the second times we see them fighting for this position, and still C9 very timid about it.
It's not even a one-way smoke. Looking for an explosion potentially.
Pop
There's
flash.
that explosion with the pop flash, but Leaf playing aim lab, 3 headshots onto NRG. And A site is up for grabs.
That hat trick was nice. Cruising in, they only have to fight 2. I think we see Artist and Finesse going for this with the weapons they're bringing into the round.
So a trap play that they're trying to do on this lower buy for NRG. But somehow Leaf not affected by that flash, and
Planted.
just came down to quick reactions, and Patnos stats rather builds that confidence for Leaf. It's up to Artis and Finesse now. No, it's a done deal, but Artis is trying to get that weapon left behind here by Jake.
I think we get a little clue in as well as to we asked why isn't Cloud9 using their own ace strat? Almost an ace. Almost. And it's because they're kind of waiting. They're letting NRG take that space, feel comfortable in that space. And you mentioned it, it wasn't a one-way. So Leaf already plays very cautious to the situation, coming up with a hat trick right after. And coming up with a beautiful set here. Because Jake was just the punching bag there. He went down to like 5 HP. And now you get Leaf back on his overdrive. So we got dueling neons coming into this round. And again, Cloud9 starting to creep back up on NRG's score. 3 away. They just did it on Lotus. Or sorry, they just did it on Pearl.
Paranoia coming out, and Som does get the TP on top of Rumble, and then gets punished by Leaf as he throws his own Paranoia. Trailblazer to get information out on defense from Crashies as C9 decides to fall back and quickly into B. But that's where all of the utility left behind here from Artis is at. Trying to push forward, grabbing the orb at the same time. Now turret picked off. It doesn't budge NRG though.
Nope.
So they're still holding their positions. Orb picking up allows for them to have Seekers on the attack. Zeppa trying to find information as they see only one Seeker going towards C. Still committed to push inside B though. Artis flashed away. Snakebite Nanoswarm, allowing the plant to happen towards the default towards Cloud9. Yeah, there's a Snakebite that comes down. Rooney putting the Viper's Pit up. They're trying to get a timing on a retake now for NRG. Finesse is right there. Couldn't get the punishment onto Rooney.
Big mid flank.
And yes, indeed, it's a double flank coming across. That Zelsis holding his ground. Relay Bolt misses him. It's a 1-for-1, but Victor fights back. Back to a 2 versus 2. Leaf inside the pit with Rooney. Artis trying to get a timing. Picked off now on the top of the staircase up to Victor alone. Pit goes down, allowing Leaf to get another multi-kill in round number 20.
That's the money round for Cloud9. That's the reset here. NRG's gonna be down in the dirt on this purchase. Maybe some frenzies, maybe some stingers, but yes, Cloud9 has clawed their way back, punched through the bank account of NRG, and now very much on top of the momentum of this game. Even a round loss, Cloud9 are still buying. Leaf is close to max money. So you see what kind of position they're sitting in now and the confidence they're playing with. Van Silly, they've done such a good job at tracking NRG, even on a lot of these fakes. And it seems like that C9 read now on defense is what the analyst desk was talking about. That tack may have looked a little shaky, but they are definitely able to read here. No, sorry, defense to attack, as I get mixed up. So 3 rounds now for C9. NRG calls the timeout. What could Chet say in this? I mean, this has to be an eco. You're guaranteed to almost get an 11-11, even up again. Incredible that this is how it happens between these two teams.
Yeah. They mentioned it on the desk, right? You're trying to run a mirror comp. You've learned how C9 plays it, and now you want to know if you could actually apply it. There's been some moments here right now within the last 3 rounds that NRG cannot find their footing on a defense. And C9's always been very good in how they explode as a team into these sites. He's done a very good job to fight back here and there, but at the end of the day, it's still these rounds being tallied up now by C9, closing that gap, closing a lead that NRG has been building throughout this second map. And they do want to fight back early. It's an overdrive from Victor being thrown early. As they're on this lower buy. Now the trap play that we've seen before is counter Paranoia. Out as Victor cannot get these kills. Crashizel gets the Sheriff kill. Pushing forward with the frenzy, the stinger rather. Som drops 2, Flash coming out, shorting out to get the kill. Oh, Rooney! Watching the flank and dropping both. But Crashies, he does have a Sheriff on a 2 versus 1. All he needs is a body shot on the last 2 players of Rooney and Zelsis, and he could definitely clutch this. He's been on fire in the first and second map. Look at that! Triple clutch!
Unheard of! Another round where the team not supposed to win. You hear it from the crowd. Crashy steps up once again. The skies of America.
Remaining.
Always the ones we see fragging out and pulling out some amazing clutches. Crashy's doing it right there for us. And now, NRG. Whether, like I said, lose that round, it's almost 11-11. Now it's game point.
Game point. And there looked to be a lot of utility dump going out for NRG. Tried to add that pressure into Cloud9. NRG looking to push this into a third map. Trying to win C9's map pick here on Lotus.
Take this.
As we're defaulting across the map.
Yeah, slow this time.
Power it down.
Just utility trades happening from both sides here on both NRG and C9. Trailblazers coming out on mid for NRG, not getting information. As C9 are slowly pivoting back on the A site. Crash has already rotated across though.
Yeah, they're ready for this retake on A. You see, Hobbit door has to be broken to get in. Just saw him with a bit of info from the shadows.
Exactly. We snuck through, made it across. C9 hiding just by the staircase of the A site. All of Cloud9 now grouped up on A.
This is the first time we see somebody going through a tree.
Been a rare occasion this full map indeed. Plat now coming down on the attack, now confirmed that the hit is on A. Trying to look for a play here is going to be Zeppa. Just around the corner is Finesse. As NRG is still inching and closing now on the rotate. Beeping in is that spike. Finesse does get the first kill. And second off the Zeppa though. Denied once again by Jake.
Player standing.
But it's all up to one. It's Rooney. Snakebite on the ground. Hiding under behind the dark cover. Avoiding the flash. Getting the first kill. Down to 11 HP. Big flash coming out. Second kill. But Artist sprays him back. And NRG will be able to push this into a third map.
I can't believe it. Into Haven, where the chess game continues to the X Factor. Incredible gameplay between these two teams. Cloud9 again showing that increased chance for the comeback, for the knowledge of how to pick apart a team who has that few rounds above you, how to take apart their economy. But NRG coming back with another low buy round. Both of these teams have incredible low buy round statistics, and they continue to punish each other with them. Again, winning rounds they should not be winning.
Yeah.
These guys are testing each other right now.
That play that they actually did that became the swing round there for NRG. Like I said, I felt like I've seen it before, but it was a whole different composition. I remember some dark covers, some cloudbursts, some flashes coming through to allow NRG to get all of these kills, but they've done it this time around with a different comp. Setting up the trap play, pushing everybody towards Crashies to get the 2 kills, and allowing NRG to seal the deal in this final round to push this to the third map, 13-9. C9, unfortunately, is not going to be the strongest team now on Lotus. But I still have yet to find out who's going to be the strongest team here on Haven.
Yep.
And that's going to happen after the break, because when we return, it'll be the Analyst test that's going to break down at least this second map, and we'll see the finishing between Cloud9 and NRG.